Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Presents Slasher Party. I'm Sean.
And I am Anthony, the haunted animatronic bear.
I'm Missy.
And joining us once again, Jessica Lacy, author extraordinaire. Tastes Like Candy is out right now.
Yes,
Right
it
now.
is. Yes, it
Right
is.
now.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Anthony, I'm assuming based on your introduction that, like myself, every time you've gone to the theater, including to see the movie we're going to discuss tonight, you've been treated to this trailer for what is this fucking thing? Chuck E. Cheese's Part Two, or
Yeah, in every orifice, man. It's really bad. I'm just so tired of seeing that. I never watched the first one. I know nothing about the games. I
same.
don't want to watch the second movie at all. Um, I'd rather watch Christmas Bloody Christmas, like that, as far as crazy animatronic stuff goes. But
Word.
yeah, it's incredibly mind-numbing to sit through that stuff in the theater. It's awful.
That, that trailer, I've seen it so many times. First of all, I don't know if you guys know this. So a couple years ago, Missy, you wouldn't have been here. Jessica, you wouldn't have been here. But Anthony, we covered a movie called The Wind, and the director of The Wind is Emma Tammy, and she is the director of this movie. I think she also directed the first, but so kudos to her because I don't know what I haven't like kept tabs on her, but she succeeded, and The Wind was kind of a small movie, so that
Was that
makes me happy.
the prairie house that's haunted or something like that?
Yep,
Yeah, it's been ages since I
it's
Jesus.
been
Yeah,
ages, yeah, but it was a
yeah.
solid flick, and
That was
I
bad.
so I'm happy for her finding success. But dude, that trailer, like they actually, I felt like it gets longer every time I
Right?
see it.
I
Because
think it
then I
does.
just noticed this thing the other day where there's like a thing at the end where the guy's like, that won't work. And then he like picks up the head of one of them and puts it on. I don't know, whatever. We're not here to talk about Five Nights at Frankie's. And I don't know that the movie that we're going to talk about, or the franchise as it may now be, is a slasher per se, but it might be, and we can talk about it. The Slasher Party.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's not, but that doesn't mean it's not a good movie.
And I would agree with you. However, might it become one? We'll see. This movie is Black Phone 2, and we're going to keep it spoiler free for a little bit. And then when you hear the chainsaw, if you haven't seen it, turn us off and go see it. So, Jessica, as the guest, uh, talk about your relationship with the first Black Phone movie and seeing Black Phone 2.
I know I saw it. I know I watched, I remember watching Black Phone. I remember I still lived in LA, so I saw it right around the time it came out. It was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I wasn't blown away. I wasn't like, oh, best movie ever, but I thought it was decent. I thought that The Grabber was great. That's great. Joe Hill is one of my favorite authors. It was fine. And then I was kind of, oh, okay, we'll see the second one until I heard Nightmare on Elm Street, and then they had my attention. So I had been avoiding it. I knew nothing about it. I never saw the trailers. I did not know what
Oh,
any of
you're
the
lucky.
setup was. I no no no. I'm not like y'all. I timed how long trailers are. I don't leave my house until the time the movie starts. So if a movie starts at 2 p.m., I leave at 2 p.m. and I miss all the trailers. It's great. But I was able to be completely unspoiled, and all I heard was Elm Street with a side of Sinister, and they had me, and that's what they tried to give.
Do you feel like it lived up to the expectation that's set for you?
I am going to say this. The scenes that are very clearly inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not just talking about the ones that are like obvious homages to certain scenes, but just the nightmare sequences, the supernatural stuff. Some of that stuff was so good that I teared up.
Okay.
So so I'm extremely torn about this movie in general. We will have to get to the spoiler portion for me to yell about that. But This is a solid 4 out of 5 for me.
Okay.
But with a couple of tweaks, the third one could be one of my favorite movies of all time.
Ooh,
If they
okay.
if they keep what I didn't like and add in what was missing, this could be the next great horror franchise. But I don't know that they're going to do that. So we will
Okay.
see. Yeah.
Uh, Anthony, talk about seeing this movie and your relationship with the first movie.
You know what sucks? I think you guys went to go see this at Beyond Fest, and
We
I I,
did, yes.
I didn't go to that, and something happened, and I just never made it out to the theater to watch it for some reason. So everybody had already, kind of spoiled it, and I think it was like Black Friday came up. I bought the Blu-ray for $5, and I was like, oh, I'll throw it on the stack of like, the two watch pile at some point, and then I gave it a go, and I was like, you know what? I really regret not seeing this in theaters. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like movie of the year or anything like that, but probably, I mean, one of the better big studio properties that had come out within the last at least 5 years. So it was pretty good, And when the second one came along, I saw the trailer, and I gotta admit there was some stuff in there. I go, I recognize this kind of cheese, and I don't know if I want any part of it. And then I did. But I really did go into it with like zero expectation, and came out on the other end pretty entertained. I have, maybe one or two little nitpicks, but nothing that I want to over examine to sully the entirety of that theatrical experience. So all in all, I was happy with it. The audience reaction was pretty good. It was kind of light in the theater that night, but I was honestly kind of surprised that there were that many people on a Sunday evening. There were still quite a few seats, sold, but yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it. I would kind of like to watch it again just to see if it, really gives a little more oomph as far as fandom goes. But all in all, I can't say I had a bad, I can't say that I had a bad time. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, kudos,
Right
director.
on. Missy?
I really liked the first one. I had seen it. You had seen it at Beyond Fest, and you had talked about it for like months before I ever got access to it.
Yeah, Beyond Fest played it almost a full year before it hit theaters.
Okay, because I remember like you talking about it and just waiting for it forever. Um, and when it came out, I enjoy the first one a lot. I really like the cast. I like the grabber and his mask, and I always really liked the Finney character. Um, so I went into this like I had seen a trailer. I try not to like I usually don't read my fangos until after I've
Hmm.
seen the movie. I like to be as blind as possible. So when I walked into this, I was able to completely immerse in it almost immediately and take the ride. It didn't feel slow to me. It might to some people, um, but I really I love character development, especially if I like the characters, and I I love the Finney, Gwen, and the Grabber characters, and I want more about them. So I mean, I had no problem connecting with it. I like how they have progressed the characters and the powers in this world. I love the visuals. The way they do dream sequences are fucking outstanding. Like it's shot on super 8 millimeter Super 8 film, and it just looks analog and creepy, and you can hear sinister all over it. And it just, I think the movie has a lot of style and heart, and I like we don't get a lot of direct sequels anymore that straight up continue the story but do something different.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, I only have one big beef about this movie, and it I mean, I still rate it highly. Like I'd still say it's like a 4 or 4.5 out of 5 for me as well. Um, my biggest issue is that I feel like they're marketing it as a slasher movie, and I don't think it is either. I agree that it might be. If they continue the series, I think that's where they're going with it. Um, but they market it like a slasher movie, and it does not have slasher type kills in it. Like the
Very
body
true.
count is weak, but the story is good and the characters are good, and I really enjoyed it, and I want to see it in the theater again.
Same. I'm definitely going to see it a second time. I just rewatched the first one earlier tonight because I went last week and Kirsten didn't go with me because it was a late show, and we watched the first one, which I didn't get a chance to watch before that viewing. Um,
Okay.
so I'm nice and primed to watch it again, and then so is she. But yeah, I saw this at Beyond Fest, and it was like, I mean, it was in September of 2021, and the movie didn't come out. We saw it in July of 2022, and true Blumhouse fashion, I never forget sitting in the theater the first time the trailer for it when it was going to be released came up, and I literally covered Kirsten's eyes after a few minutes because I'm like, they're showing the whole fucking movie. It's a Blumhouse movie. That's what they do. And similarly, this movie for Black Phone 2, I've seen the trailer so many times that it's just become my habit the last month. I know exactly when it's going to pop up. And the minute it does, I walk out and go take a leak or whatever. I just leave the theater because I'm like, enough. And I was really concerned because it looked like it was showing me the fate of one character, and I'm just like, oh my God, Blumhouse, fuck you. Like, seriously, stop it. Luckily, I can tell anybody within the sound of my voice, if you haven't seen the movie, the trailer actually doesn't really give anything away. It still shows too much, in my opinion, but it doesn't give anything away. Um, I love the first one. And I'll tell you right now, this one bumps Sinners down my list. Like, I I am all about this movie, and it's not my top. I think it's sitting at 5 maybe on my list, but I love Sinister, and one of the things I love about Sinister is I think it's the atmosphere of the movie, and a lot of that is it's Derrickson, it's attention to detail visually, but also his sound design and his scores are always fucking awesome. And it's true in Black Phone number 1, and then between Black Phone 1 and Black Phone 2, Cargill, who's the writer, and Derrickson is director, co-writer. They worked together. They did Sinister. Um, they did a segment in VHS 85 called Dream Kill. I rewatched that earlier tonight after I watched Black Phone. The reason I rewatched it is Black Phone 2, those like Super 8 or whatever they filmed the dream sequences on, that they started playing with in Dream Kill. And I remembered that about the movie. And I also remembered the score, which, so for the second Black Phone movie and Dream Kill, Atticus Derrickson did the score. He didn't do the first Black Phone, but he did those. And I remembered the score specifically. And I also always remember with Scott Derrickson, one of the things the first time I watched Sinister that blew me away, there is a point in the movie when Ethan Hawke runs outside and tries to burn the camera. They use Boards of Canada. The song's called Gyroscope. And the fact that it just comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh my God, Boards of Canada. He does that in almost every movie with a song. In Dream Kill, it's Hamburger Lady by Throbbing Gristle, and it's used so well, it's unbelievable. And then in this movie, Black Phone 2, or I'm sorry, in Black Phone 1, they use On the Run by Pink Floyd, and what is like the best sequence. Jim Ransom is just so awesome as the brother, and he's also Deputy So-and-so in Sinister. Um, but but what I didn't realize about Dream Kill, it actually ties directly into Black Phone. So it's kind of Black Phone 1.5. If you're like me and you have trouble with the VHS movies, the timestamp on that. It's on Shudder. It's 1 hour, 13 minutes, 39 seconds. If you go to that, Dream Kill starts. And it's about somebody mailing videotapes to a police station, and they have murders on it that then happen like 3 days later. And so they're trying to figure out how they do that. It turns out somebody's dreaming about this, and the video camera is recording their dreams. But the whole thing in it, there's a sequence where somebody says, no, he's not making this up. He has dreams. They're prophetic. His cousin, Gwen, also has them. Her mother had it, and it drove her insane, and she killed herself. And
Oh,
right
shit.
there, I was like, holy fuck. So that's going to go into kind of my projection for where this is going. But I love this. I think there, like, I know, Missy, you said there's not a body count. There's a few baffling things as far as some people that I thought were fodder that weren't.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some pretty brutal kills in this. It's just we're seeing something that happened before, right? But it's not a slasher movie. Neither one of them are. They're just horror movies, and they're really, really good horror movies. And I can't recommend it enough. Man, I can't wait to see it in the theater again. So I'm taking it, everybody here, this is a recommend. If somebody were to walk up to you on the street and say, would you go see this in the theater? You would say yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's choice.
I would pull out my phone and look up times for them.
Nice. That's so nice. Jessica, that's wonderful. How did you all feel about, like, I really like Gwen and Finney. I really, really like them.
Absolutely. They're great.
Yeah, I love them both. And I like how they're progressing their characters. Um, but I really love the Finney character, and I like seeing how he grew from the first one. I feel like this isn't really a spoiler because it's directly out of the first one. The first time we see Finney in the new movie, he's fighting, and he says to his sister pretty much exactly what Robin said to him in the first one. So the first one always feels ever present. Like Robin is referenced several times throughout the second one. In fact, Miguel Mora, Ernesto, the younger brother, Robin was played by the same actor in the first one.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Miguel
I
Mora.
didn't even catch
He
that.
played Robin Arellano in the first movie, and now he's Ernesto, his younger brother, in the second one.
That's awesome.
Which I thought was
That's
really
really cool. Wow. Yeah, Robin's a great character.
I love Robin. And how their connection strengthened Finn. Like he learned from him, and right even in the beginning when he's fighting and he tells his sister, yeah, I had to do that. You need the blood for the crowd. It makes more of a statement.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I do too.
I do. Yeah, me too.
Those are some pretty brutal fights, man. When we saw it at Beyond Fest and Cargill and Derrickson were there, they talked about their childhood and like, I mean, and also like, so the scene in the first one with the character, is it Vance, the guy that's basically Billy from Stranger Things, right? Like the
Pinball
long
Vance.
hair. I'm watching a segment with him where he's like playing, Galaga or whatever, and the kid bumps into the arcade machine and he starts kicking ass. And I'm like, man, I just miss the world where people could like settle their differences by punching one another in the face a couple times and then like even in the first one. So there's the whole thing where Robin is taken and then the three bullies attack Finn, and then Gwen gets involved, right? And she hits the one in the fucking head with the rock, and he just staggers and drops against the fence, and he's sitting there dazed. And then she gets her ass kicked, and she drops down next to him, and it's just like, I've had that experience where like, the person that you're in a fight with, I mean, it's not the exact experience, but like, I've had the experience where I've punched somebody in the face and had a beer with them a week later. Because it wasn't you know, it was like you know, it's like, yeah, you were helping your buddy out, you know, it's whatever. Like I just
Yeah.
miss that world, and I really think they capture it.
Yeah, majority of the guys that I got in fights with in high school, we all ended up becoming like real close buddies. You know what I mean? Just something you share through
Yeah,
aggression. For some reason, it brings us together. And it's the same thing in like the metal community. Hey, let's go get our ass kicked in a pit. Like at least we're together. You know
yeah.
what I mean? That kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I like those those fight sequences were brutal, definitely, man. And ugh, even that end fight with Finn and the grabber at the end when they're just Finn's desperately going at him with everything he's got. It's hard to watch at some points because you know what's at stake, but in the grand scheme of things, you also know he's gonna make it. So, all right, I gotta stop picking that movie apart too.
Okay, so let's go. We'll leave it here. So this is a recommend from all four of us, and if you like, I feel like Joe Hill. So there's an article in the New Fangoria. There's actually two about
Who?
this, but one of them is Cargill and Hill talking about writing because Cargill basically adapted Hill's story, and he talked about like I didn't want to change anything. I wanted to add to it. I wanted to do the novella to his short story, right? And I really feel like if you know Joe Hill's writing, this feels like Joe Hill. Like these are the
Mhm.
perfect two people to adapt his and he's obviously involved as an executive producer or whatever. But and I'm sure that in some cases executive producers like the guy that signs checks or whatever, but he's more involved than that. You can tell because this feels like Joe Hill. So if you like Joe Hill's writing, you'll like and you like the first one. I don't see how anybody could not like this. There is one gripe I've heard, which I will address as soon as we go spoilers. But yeah, just go see it. And so now I'm going to fire up the chainsaw and we're going to talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, turn us off. Okay, let's talk spoilers. Missy, start with spoilers. What do you want to say about the spoilers? You said you had one thing you wanted to kind of mention.
No, I said I had one thing that bugs me, and I mean honestly, the only my only beef with it, and I loved it. Like it's sitting in my number 3 spot uh on my list, is that I feel like from those trailers they made you think you were getting a slasher movie. That those trailers looked extremely Nightmare on Elm Street, and while the first one was not a slasher, and this isn't either, and I'm fine with it not being, I feel like that trailer made like it made some promises and it mostly cashed in on them, but like if it had a couple of really good kills that we saw on screen, I'd think it was perfect. You could have killed off the freaking church people and I would
That
have
I
been
didn't
happy.
understand.
No,
I didn't understand that
Like
at all.
can't kill the church people. Mm-mm,
why couldn't we kill Barb the evil church lady?
mm-mm,
Like every
mm-mm.
I
but
Well,
mean,
otherwise
Missy's
like
heard me. I've been walking around. I've been walking around because people keep saying that churchgoer thing to me. My problem with this movie is that no one dies and that Gwen should fucking die. Gwen needs to die, and this is a perfect movie. Um, they telegraphed every single major Elm Street death, plus Nancy's arm burning, and they didn't. They should have killed Gwen Johnny Depp style on their own twist on it. You have mom hanging, so you got Rod, you got her flying around like Tina, you got people being cut up. You keep teasing me, you keep promising me something, you keep telling me he's the scariest guy in the world, and then you're showing me how scary he is, and it's successful because not everybody can do that. It is not easy to be scary, and they
mhm.
managed it. And then it's toothless. There are zero stakes, and it was like it was the best movie I had seen in probably 5 years, and then the rug just gets ripped out of me and I'm like, why? And even if you wanted to turn it into a franchise, because I feel like that's one of the reasons why no one died, even if you wanted to turn it into a franchise, it's very, very easy. Kill Gwen, release her power into the camp, and then you have her as an anti-grabber, and then she can assist in the future. And then her power is now loose, and anybody there can start having grabber nightmares. You know, she can be calling people from the other side. There's plenty of stuff you can do there, and then it's satisfying. They took away like the thing that it really needed to just shove it over the top. They didn't have to be killing everybody. I didn't need everybody dead. If they had only killed the church people, do you know how mad I would have been? Because that's cheating. That's just people to kill. They managed to do something that's very, very difficult, and they made us care about all of these characters. They made us love these characters. They made us root for these characters. And then they R-rated horror movie, and they all lived. And that's not okay with me. You had the ability to have this thing, and then you just kind of like so I'm hoping 3, they actually kill somebody, they keep all the good stuff from this one, and then we have a perfect movie. But that's my rant.
Interesting. So I think all of that is valid. I'm actually glad they didn't kill her, because the fucking trailer to me, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Show me that you're going to kill her. So I was happy they didn't, but I agree that it was a little toothless, although it wasn't too, like, we got to see him kill multiple times, I think, for each one. Those 3 kids in the past, like, the one kid's face falls off.
No, it's absolutely disgusting. The kills that are there, the past kills, it's kind of like if the grabber also got a hold of the same power Freddy has, and then this is how he's using it. And instead of showing us what happened after his death, we're seeing what happened before. Like, I don't care about what Freddy did when he was killing little kids. I'm fine with seeing the teenagers. I would like to see if the grabber he was just so scary. And nothing ever scares me, ever. I've seen it all, and my brain is always trying to rewrite these movies to fix them, because there's always problems. And this one, I was fixing nothing, and then at the end I was like, why I would have just been sitting in the theater sobbing if she had died.
Yeah.
Sobbing. It would have destroyed me, and it would have been the best movie ever.
That's valid. Anthony, what do you think?
I agree. She should have got offed. They really pushed that narrative hard with the trailers, and I was I'm not gonna say looking forward to it, but I was on that road. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, I'm here. This is what I want to see, and we'll see what happens next. But I was surprised how they did utilize her character, because halfway through the movie, I'm like, this can't be another Finney's gonna pull himself up by the bootstraps and save the day. I'm glad that it's not his story, and I'm glad that I'm not glad, but I like that they basically just made him powerless. There's nothing he could do in this film to stop any of the havoc that's going on, until the very end, when he gets his magic lasso and is able to subdue the grabber. Again, I don't want to pick at this movie too much till I hate it, because I did enjoy it, but there's the elements that they changed enough to make it entertaining for this viewing, I'm okay with. As far as them creating, a whole, brand off this, I don't know if it's something I want to see sequel after sequel after sequel for. If it ends here, I'm fine with that. But Blumhouse be Blumhouse, and so it just kind of is what it is there. If it happens, it happens. But I mean, as far as like major gripes, I think it's just the ice skate feet that I hated the most.
Yes.
Like, they could have given him like actual skates, and like shit, they could have thrown on a derpy black cape and it would have been bitchin' looking, but you got ice skate feet instead, uh, which just really pissed me off every time they showed an up close shot of it.
It was so
So
bizarre.
when they finally smash his feet off or cut his feet off, I'm like, all right, good, because those were dumb looking.
Now I'm gonna look for them.
I hated his fucking feet.
I remember seeing him ice skating.
Go back and watch the movie and watch his stupid feet. It's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. It's like they like tease it and then they full on show it. And I was like,
Yeah.
because I was
Really?
when they
Okay.
teased it, I was like, did I see that? And then when they showed it, I was like, oh God, come on now.
And, the references to, the eternal boiler room where everything is hot, et cetera, et cetera. That kind of gets dispelled pretty quickly. And I like it. And Sean and I talked about this in a previous conversation about how, was it, is it Dante's Inferno? Basically the furthest point from God is the coldest. And that's where the devil is in theory blue, everything is frozen over. That's what hell is. It's frozen. So I really like how they brought that element into the movie. He says it, on screen, hell isn't flames, it's ice. And I really dug that. There's just lots of little bits of just, how do I say it? I don't want to say tropes, but just influences from all different spectrums of and mediums in horror. I obviously, curtains is the big one. You notice that right off the bat as soon as he comes skating down the ice, ready to do hockey stuff. And I love hockey, but I didn't like his stupid feet. Um, there's enough in here to keep you grasping at things, but ultimately by the end of it, I don't feel that I got what I wanted out of it. I felt like there was too much fan service, but for the average moviegoer who may not be knowledgeable and all this other stuff, I think it's serviceable. And like I said, I went in with zero expectations. So I guess the end result was something that I was okay with at the end. I didn't hate it. Um, just those goddamn feet. But I mean, the gore in there is pretty amazing. I
Yeah.
really like it. Okay, we have to talk about that head split scene because it's just fucking gnarly, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ghosts start revealing themselves, or specters, whatever you want to call them, dead kids. And when you see him, those hands come through the window and just not shatter the glass, but just I don't know. There's a way he did it that just makes it look really cool. And they do that, quasi, he splits his head in half with the glass, and that reminded me of one of the kills in Urban Legend. And so again, I'm picking up on all these little things and in each kill. But yeah, that fucking scene was so messed up to me. And I'm a dad, so yeah, of course, I don't want to see
Hmm.
dead kids, but that's what I signed up for the evening, and it fucked me up sometime. When I was watching some of those kills, that first kid with the yellow parka, that was just really
Yeah.
fucking hard to watch, man. And he stabs that kid until he is chum. Like there's just splatter all over the place, completely unrecognizable, and just hunks of meat everywhere. Like that was really hard to watch, and I think that's where they kind of succeeded in this film as far as upping the extremity that they did as far as like violence towards children. So they were like all on board with it because in the first movie he killed what, like 18, 20 kids. I can't remember how many they found
No, it's
buried.
like it's only like
No, it's
five.
5.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only 5.
It's
It's
only
only
five.
five,
Yeah, it's five
come
or
on.
6. I think it's
But yeah,
5.
I feel like the violence is amped up, and it makes it a tad more disturbing for me anyway. But what about you guys? Do you guys have any favorite kills?
The way that they shot those kills was really interesting too,
Or
because it was super up close, which I think
yes,
helped because it did not traumatize me to see it because it
Yeah.
was really up close. It wasn't Jacob Tremblay in Doctor Sleep. It wasn't that.
yeah,
Um, him in the pit screaming his head off, like
Right.
that's hard to watch. This was not easy to watch, but you didn't have to like see the kid screaming like that. But no, that's it's one of the reasons it blew my mind that it ended with none of the major characters dying because they don't hold back on the gore. This is not PG-13 horror
no,
pretending to be violent. It was just a very weird thing, and I've been like replaying, and a lot of movies that came out recently that are not slashers, not specifically we're going to watch a bunch of people die, haven't had a lot of like weapons. Does anybody die in weapons?
Oh
Like
yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately,
Benedict Wong's husband.
yeah, but none of the kids
Benedict
die.
Wong.
None of the people, like the teacher doesn't die. The dad lives. Like most of the main, it would,
Yeah,
but it has that like a couple of really violent scenes. It's just very weird to me that there's these movies that are coming out that have these violent things, and then everybody walks like there's one early death or like something sort of. I don't know. It just feels like we stopped killing people all of a sudden, and I don't like.
is it the what is the I'm not a Star Trek person. In fact, it's basically like anathema to me. I hate it. But what's the thing with like the red shirts in Star Trek are basically like the fodder. So anybody
Yeah.
in a red shirt is like
Yeah.
that they're probably gonna die, right? So is it like basically these big horror movies, while they are violent and there are deaths, it's only for the red shirts. So, it's like these kind of
Yeah.
peripheral characters.
Which is why people saying that the church people should have died in this one infuriated me, because if the church people had died, I would be madder than I am right now.
I would just have liked them to die because they were fucking annoying. And also, I saw him drag a hatchet or axe,
Yes.
whatever it was, across their fucking heads. So I was like, how are they not dead?
Right.
My problem isn't that they didn't die. My problem is that if they did die, someone else should have died. Like an important. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean,
the stakes aren't high enough. Yeah,
they're not.
The stakes just aren't high enough.
They're just not. And you created. I kept having like flashbacks to that stupid Suicide Squad movie with Jared Leto and Margot Robbie, where they gave that the speech about how she's so much crazier than him, but they never gave any examples of what makes her crazy. They just called her crazy. You're sitting here showing me how evil the grabber is, and he doesn't get away. He doesn't murder anybody. He like completely dog walk him at the cabin at the camp.
I will say they do mention something in the Fangoria article about I'm not going to be able to find the exact quote, but it's basically like they address the fact that there's this expectation of Nightmare on Elm Street comparisons, but they're basically like, he's not Freddy. He's not all powerful. The same limitations that the kids in the first movie have, i.e., they can't help Finn actually get out, but they can elevate a 7-Up bottle 45 degrees to point to something, right? Mm-hmm. They basically say, like, he's not all powerful. He's dealing with the same restrictions, basically. So that does follow. And I don't disagree with you at all, Jessica. I mean, I will say, strangely enough, I'm super happy that the brother and sister lived, even though I do think it would be a better movie if she had died.
Ultimately, I'm fine with it. I'm still saying it's a damn near perfect movie, but you could have had a perfect movie. And please don't be giving interviews saying this isn't Freddy when you're literally copying Freddy.
So they're paying homage to certain sequences or ideas, but I don't think he's Freddy. Like that way, and that was one of.
To be confused with Freddy Krueger, do not do dream kills. Do not redo Tina's death. Do not redo Nancy's burning arm. Do not.
I don't agree with that. Simply because
pajamas.
I don't agree with that simply because I feel like. I like the fact that, like, there, I feel like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe somebody would have been like, yeah, I don't know, that's too Nightmare on Elm Street. But I feel like, I like the fact that I kind of feel like they were like, we're just going to use this shit for our own ends because nobody's making Nightmare on Elm Street movies, so fuck them. We're just going to take it and appropriate it for our own movie.
Yep.
And I like that because
I did too.
I mean, yeah, like. Did anybody see I forget who the guy that I think it was the guy that directed Dream Warriors. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh God, no, not Jim Carrey. No,
he literally said in an interview, I think Jim Carrey could. And I'm like, after I got done vomiting, I was like, please don't let this man anywhere near a Nightmare on Elm Street. Or just how about like just put him in a small box on an island and feed him once a week and just keep him away. Like, oh my God. And I have no, I don't give a shit about Freddy. I mean, I think everything after the fourth one is fucking awful and just, whatever. But anyway, sorry. Oh God.
I think what it felt like to me is it felt like they said nobody's making Elm Street movies. Nobody will, the Cravens won't give the rights away. Nobody will do it. So we're just going to do it. And I've had similar thoughts myself because all I do with my books is just create characters that like I wanted to see what would happen if Freddy was a bitchy influencer. Boom, I did it. That kind of thing. So I understand the desire to want to hit the Elm Street well. And they did it. And they did it really well. And then now they want to pretend like they're not going to. That was a Nightmare on Elm Street. That was a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
I think the point is they're saying it's not Freddy because he doesn't have the power to affect the kind of. It's important that he doesn't have the grabber doesn't have the power to directly affect their physical existence when they're awake because
well, that's true.
If he did, it would be a different movie, right? So I do like that, and I like the idea. Like, I had a conversation a couple weeks ago with somebody that were like, I don't even understand. He's dead. And I'm like, did you not see the first movie? Like the whole first movie, like they even in the trailer, he says, Finn, you of all people should know dead is whatever he says, just a word or whatever.
Right. That is just a word.
Yeah, his quips need a little work.
Yeah. Well, I don't want him to have any quips. Let's stay away from quips.
I don't want him to have quips either. That was another thing they did. Quips and like just kind of the scrambly humor of like okay, I will give you this. He was not Freddy Krueger, but that was a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It was. They tried to make a Nightmare on Elm Street movie and dropped ice into it, and it was fabulous.
I'd have to see it again to know. I mean, in no way am I contesting your, not at all. And you know way more about Nightmare on Elm Street than I do, for sure. So I will take your word for it. But it feels like it was influenced, but it doesn't feel like it was an actual Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Well, it doesn't feel like an 80s slasher. It doesn't have that going on. But those dream sequences, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, and they did it well. They did it really, really well.
It's a solid horror movie, and I think one of the reasons why, despite so I said to Anthony when we talked the other day, I'm like, I don't know how people. It just seemed like everybody was like, oh, let's go skinny dipping in the frozen lake, and nobody gets hypothermia or is even like I thought for sure Mondo was dead, and then next day he's like, all right, let's go. I'm like, what?
By the way, fantastic actor. People should know him from the Let the Right what the fuck was it? Let the Right One In?
Let the Right One In, the Showtime show that Showtime fucked us with because it was awesome and they canceled it and disappeared the whole fucking season. Yeah. Thank you, Showtime. Burned in hell.
Wait, really?
Oh God, it was fucking awesome. And he's the lead. I'll probably say it wrong, but it's like Demoon Burchur or whatever. He is fucking awesome. Love him. So happy to see him in it. There were some of those things I just didn't understand at all. But the reason why, so horror can be to me, like I just rewatched The Shining for the first time in probably, let's say, 8 years, right? And I still love that movie, and I understand it as a nearly bloodless, I mean, other than the blood getting off the elevator at the third floor, is nearly bloodless movie. It's all about the fucking tone and the atmosphere and the visuals and the sonics. And that's why this movie is so high on my list right now. It doesn't, any gripe I have, I could just throw it away because visually and sonically, it just possessed me. And it took me to dark places. And sometimes when you're using abstractions, just like the graininess of film or these, like Atticus Derrickson's score is fucking incredible. And it took me somewhere, and it's scarier than seeing somebody run at you with an axe or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Derrickson really, he's got a knack for, and it's the detail. It is, Sinister. I'll never forget the first time I watched it because I didn't see it in the theater. A friend of mine was like, watch it with headphones. Watch it with headphones. And I didn't. And I fucking knew halfway through the movie, I'm like, I should have watched it with headphones. You know, I mean, that's the kind of stuff you can have a great horror movie, and if it's got, you know, decent sound or like, you know, average sound, it's great, fine. If you invest more into the sound, it will be a fucking masterpiece. So I think that this was, I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it was fucking great.
Well, and it uses its setting and its ambience real well.
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, and by doing it in the, I mean, doing it in the winter is brilliant because they were still able to capture that nostalgic camp setting that, you know, that slasher fans are going to latch onto, and yet make it something different by doing it in
Yes.
the winter.
Yes.
Like, I loved how the camp looked, the way they had those big crazy heaters, like it, and then all the
Oh, the
sounds they
heaters.
used. Yeah, the heaters have a neat sound. And then whenever we get into the dream world, they're actually, like, I'm pretty sure they're using straight up some of the same sounds they used when they did Sinister. Like, I hear the projector.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's like the pot. It's an analog, like the
Yeah,
same way you see the grain on the film, you hear it. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. Yeah, that is
you
definitely
like
there.
feel the hum.
Yep.
The dream world is like being inside of Sinister, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, I love it.
The nightmares in this are scarier than anything in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. And it's largely because of the fact that they shoot them on that film stock and the score,
Yeah,
like
Mhm.
and the sound design.
yeah, they
Oh,
shot it on 8 millimeter using a Super 8. And I was reading, it might be in the Fangoria article because I was reading those, that this movie uses more like sequences with straight up Super 8 film than anything out there.
that's that's awesome. I mean, and that's like I mean, it just gives you that 70s. You know, one of the things I always think about with like the first time I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? And then subsequently, like seeing it later in life, and I was like, I couldn't explain to the person I was going to show it to what it was about the movie that I'm like, it literally makes me feel nauseous. And it's the fucking film stock. And that's one of the reasons why the remakes or whatever they are don't work at
Right, why
all
they
for
don't
me.
work.
I mean, one of many reasons, but I mean, Texas Chainsaw, again, like largely bloodless movie. Most of it is left to what you conjure in your mind, you know. Um, but it's, oh God, it's just the graininess. It just, and oh, Derrickson really uses it. And it's interesting then that Dream Kill, the whole concept is like the person dreaming it, these murders before they happen, is saying, and my videotape records my dream. So I I hope they don't make another one. If they do, I'll see it, and I trust them. But it's best left here. But what they could do is just leave the fucking grabber alone, or in, you know, I don't know. Maybe you could use it somehow. But like, I'd like to not see it like a one-on-one confrontation. I would like, if they're gonna keep these characters, Finn and Gwen, explore this idea. Like, I mean, I don't know, the fact that like they tackled this in Dream Kill and it's different characters even though they're related. You don't even have to use Finn and Gwen. Like, you could, I don't know, I'm just very curious about the mechanics of what's going on with these people and how this whole psychic thing operates. And I will say real quick, the one thing I did want to address, I've heard people criticize, like, this movie's got these like ridiculous Christian messages. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I'm the farthest fucking thing from a Christian,
What
right?
Christian messages?
And okay, I understand why
You
they're
gotta play
saying
it
it,
backwards.
but the thing is, this ex- this exactly fits these characters in the world that they're in at that time. Like, I lived in a world. I was born in '76, so they would be older than me, right? Because the first movie's '78. But like, I went to church. Church was part of the neighborhood. Whatever. Blah blah blah. Like, all of this Christian shit makes sense that it's there, and I don't feel like there's a Christian message. They're just using it as a backdrop for these characters, and it's clearly like Cargill and Derrickson have talked repeatedly about they mined their own childhood and teenage years to make this, and like from like abuse, not necessarily in their households, but I'm not going to say, they don't necessarily say it wasn't, but they don't say it was, but whatever. But they talk about the fact that like everything you see is something that they experienced, not a child killer in the neighborhood who's, psychic visions, but the violence and the drinking and the child abuse and missing children and whatnot. Like, so it makes perfect sense. And I know when a movie is has a Christian message. This does not.
This doesn't.
If anything, I think I know what you're talking about, because like that was just so not even a thing for me. If anything, it almost felt like with the two asshole Christians and the rest of them, it felt like they were juxtaposing and showing this is how actual Christians behave. This is how lunatics behave. That's kind of what I saw. Right. It wasn't something they really like dug into and put it in the fabric of the film, but I definitely did feel a little bit of this is, Gwen is doing what she's supposed to be doing. These people are not. I did feel that.
Yeah.
There is nothing. I'm not religious. There's nothing wrong with being Christian if you're following the Bible. If you're following the Bible.
Well, if you're not a fucking asshole, right?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
If you're an asshole, you're an asshole, regardless of if you worship the devil or Jesus or whatever.
That's what I mean. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
In this country who have decided what they think that it means, and I think that's what these two characters, and I think that's why a lot of people wanted them to die.
Yeah,
because they're not. No, I'm not gonna continue down that path, but it felt like there was a little bit of this is a real Christian, this is a fake Christian. There was a little bit of commentary there, I think.
Well, what's the line? I forget who says it, where it's like they're like, oh, we have to go out and look for the kids or help somebody or whatever, and they're like, we can't, we're staying in the cabin.
Yeah,
and isn't there even a line where somebody's like, well, what
Mustang.
It's basically
the like, native girl is the one who calls them out.
Yeah,
Mustang. Yes, she's basically like, you can stay in there and pretend to be Christians, or you can come out here and actually do what I mean, I'm wildly paraphrasing. I'm not even paraphrasing. Right. I mean, it's butchering it, but it's essentially what you just said, Jessica.
Yeah.
See, I just took that as part of the setting, and I didn't feel like it was pushing a Christian agenda, but those people would exist in that setting, and and I'm usually sensitive to it too, because I grew up in a pushy Christian household. And like that never even registered for me. It's just, I'd expect to find those people in that place.
Yeah.
I think everybody's really sensitive right now, because there's a lot of bad Christians running around. So anybody promoting any kind of anything that could even possibly be construed, like there's people who don't want to hear people praying. Like they think that if you are at this point, if you're religious, you must stand for that. And I think those people are probably not liking the fact that Gwen prays. I think they're not liking the fact that there are Christians in this film that are portrayed positively. I could see people getting upset on that. Like, I love Taylor Swift. I've been listening to her new album. She talks about wanting to get married and have kids, and people are calling her a Nazi for it. Like, that's where we are.
Well, we know one thing about Nazis: it's they get married and have kids.
Exactly.
So
and if you think
sounds like a Nazi,
if you think honestly. I'm wrong, if you think I'm making this up, you can go Google it. But people are picking the lyrics apart because they think that there's some sort of MAGA agenda hiding behind all of it. And if people have a problem with the religion in Black Phone 2, it's probably more of that kind of stuff.
Wow. Wow. If any, like, what I really loved? I love that when they go to Mondo, Damon Boucher, or however you say it. I know I'm butchering his name. I apologize. The typical trope is like, this is, you're ludicrous, and I love the fact that the leader of this Christian camp, he immediately is like, I believe everything you're saying.
Right.
I fucking
Yes.
loved that. I thought that was so like, because I was literally waiting for him to be like, I can't, we have to send you back. I'm not going to stand for this. This is whatever.
Mm.
And like, nope. Like, oh man, I just, yeah.
Well,
Cargill and Derrickson,
from
man.
like a Hispanic viewpoint, like that, from that standpoint, like it's not unheard of, and it's something that is part of that culture, especially in Catholicism, et cetera, et cetera, where you have this strong connection to the dead and this reverence for the dead. So it wouldn't be like, out of the norm from a lot of practicing Catholics at that point in time to go, yeah, I definitely believe that something evil is happening here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me more. So yeah, his character seems a little more believable at that point, and so it's cool to see that come across. But you're right, Sean. He's not one of the ones that's just shouting him down. You preposterous kids! I can't believe you came up here to stir up trouble. Let
Yeah.
the dead. You didn't have to deal with that, and I like that. He was on their team, and I almost felt bad when he went into the ice, but I'm like, they're not gonna let him die, and they didn't, and it was just
I
weird
thought
that
he was going to die.
they find him hours
Yeah, I
later.
thought so
His legs
too.
should have been fucking popsicles, but it just didn't happen.
Nah, he bounced
Yeah, he
back
was in
pretty
the
quick,
water a
man.
long
Yeah, throw a
time.
blanket on him; he's gonna be fine. Like it's that kind of stuff didn't work for me, but I'm glad they didn't off him.
I mean, and that is the thing. Like, uh, Jessica, you are not, nothing you've said is wrong, but
I know.
also, like, I wouldn't have cried if the crazy Christians had died because, but also, I like that that's another trope that they avoided. They tease it and then they avoid it. I like that because you clearly think from the minute you meet them that, okay, this bitch is definitely going to be
Right.
fucking fodder,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I like when you defy expectations, even if it ends up, withholding what could have been a juicy kill.
If they had knocked off the Christians and what is her name? The rodeo girl.
Oh, Mustang.
Mustang.
If they had knocked off the three of them and nobody else, I would have. I'm mad and very sad that the movie didn't end the way I wanted it to. I would have been pissed if they had killed those three characters and just made them fodder and not had a real emotional kill to top it off. So I'm glad they lived. If they're not going to kill somebody that's going to matter, don't kill anybody.
Yeah,
We
fair.
don't need the gore. The movie's already gory.
It really is. It's man, Anthony, like you were talking about those kills, like, and again, watching Dream Kill, so they figured out something with the fucking grainy analog footage. Like Dream Kill feels like a fucking video nasty, and so do parts
Really.
of this. So do parts of this.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
those scenes of him, like the yellow parka, and like I mean, and it is like Jessica mentioned, it's close up, right? So I think they're cheating as far as like the perception of like the ratings board or whatever. I mean, things are different now because it's a post Terrifier, landscape,
Well, it's
but
on
like
Super 8 and it's snowing, so it's you can barely see anything.
yeah, but what you do see, it is gory and it's close up, but so it's less distinct. But here, my thing is always when human bodies look like meat, it really viscerally affects my lizard brain, and that is what this movie does. It just does it in a way where you can't really frame what part of the body you're seeing in most cases. So it's an interesting trick, and I don't know. I think it really works because I was pretty taken aback by something. Wow.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, and the grittiness, it just makes it feel dangerous.
Yeah.
And like what you were calling out with Texas Chainsaw, and it's in these, and it's in Sinister, it makes it feel a little bit dangerous and like you're seeing something you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one at the end when she gets a phone call from her mom? I started laughing because I could picture Ben Affleck after he died in Smoking Aces, and they're playing with his lips. It's beautiful up here.
That's funny. I've never seen that movie, but it's sitting downstairs because a friend of mine at the comic shop I go to lent it to me. He was like, "How have you not seen this movie?"
Dude, you have to watch Smoking Aces, man. It's great.
So you're saying you would have liked Black Phone 2 better if Ben Affleck had called her?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm that's the hill I'm gonna die on. I'm with that. Yeah.
Could you imagine? Hello? Hi. Would you go see my new movie? Nobody else is.
But it's Batflick who's calling. So it's him doing Batman. That works for me.
That okay, you sold me. No, you didn't.
Watch fucking Smoking Aces. Everybody forget what we just talked about and go watch Smoking Aces. I'm kidding.
Go watch. Oh, so okay. Any final thoughts on Black Phone 2?
Is better than Ghost.
Ghost. Wait, the Ghost is in the movie with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze?
That very one.
I've never
Is
seen
that
that.
your scale in life? Do you rate all movies against Ghost?
That was Ghost to me. Basically, the grabber learned how to tip cans over. That was the movie.
I'm kind of curious to watch Ghost now
Go watch Ghost and Smoking Aces.
as a double feature. Okay, well that's Black Phone 2, and just go. Yeah, well, if you're still here, you probably saw it. So because this is spoiler country. So this is the Horror Vision. I'm Sean.
I am Anthony, the guy who has a bad view on movies.
I'm Missy.
And Jessica, so talk about Taste Like Candy and talk about next is
Tastes Like Candy, slasher set in a carnival, super campy. It's there. Coming up next is Fatally Yours for Mother's Day. It is a republish of a book called Mother Dear. And Sean, I will send you the cover because I haven't sent it to you and it's gorgeous.
nice.
But we got a whole bunch more. We got a whole like series of these monsters coming out. So I'm very excited.
Are the audio book for Taste of Candy?
The audiobook is coming out in like 4 days. Maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I haven't even heard a preview. I know nothing. This could be terrible.
and am I wrong, or is Ben Affleck reading the audiobook?
Yeah, you stole my bit.
This is the Horror Vision. Oh, we already did that. Okay. Okay. Good night.
Hapless teenagers beset by demons in the woods. A strange new drug that turns art into murder. A can't beat a deal on a new house with a horrifying past. A video game that might usher in the apocalypse. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of a collection of desires, Shadow Play, and Murder Virus, comes Volume 4, collecting Baker's no sleep work along with several never-before-published short stories. This 99-cent volume also includes the opening chapter of the author's forthcoming teenage giallo novel, Black Gloves and Broken Hearts. due out later this year.
Yes, he is. It was a really big get, but weirdly, he didn't ask for that much money. I don't think he's doing so well. Okay.
Pack of smokes.
He's like, did Kevin Smith have anything to do with this? No? Okay, yeah, then I'll do it.
Love it.
He works with him again now, doesn't he?
Well, of course he does.
Like after
course
he broke up with Jennifer Garner, I think Kevin Smith said that he was allowed to hang out with him again.
I always thought he kind of got. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think he got too big for his britches. Forgot where he was from, and yeah.
He's in like there's a Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and I absolutely watched it, and he's in it. Like he's worked with him in the past like 5 years.
I did not watch that. I did watch Clerks 3 and was blown away because I thought that I would hate it. I don't really like Clerks 2 very much, but I was actually blown away that they had the fucking balls to stick their landing because I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Anyway,